21. Hidden information, super powerful skill. Gold tier potential. Because potential could be increased, in the later stages, a gold tier potential meant nothing much. But to come across an innate gold tier potential was just too rare of a matter. Out of 1,000 silver tier potentials, it was difficult to find a gold tier one. Perhaps in the future, Mike would become a top tier powerhouse. He would have thought that a small place like Leather City would actually have a player with gold tier potential. Looks like I was wrong. This person sighed softly. Give him a bronze tier class medal, then give him a silver tier pass. A silver tier pass. Are you sure? Those are very precious. Just give it to him. Mike was done testing his potential. When he walked out, many people stopped to watch and even applauded. Then Mike was given a bronze tier class medal. Other people would need to put in a lot of effort just to get this bronze tier class medal. But because of your high potential, the Leather City Profession Alliance will give you this class medal directly to help you get started faster. Bronze tier. It was just average, as Mike had previously received a silver class medal after all. Of course, he couldn't say that out loud. Pretending to be happy and thank the person was the right thing to do. Do you know of a person named Mike? He has the same name as you, and he turned down the invitations from the palaces not long ago. He only has a supreme medal, or at most, a bronze medal or advanced medal. You should be able to surpass that, Mike, now. And this is the benefit of working with the powers of the palaces. That person said. The Profession Alliance belonged to the various palaces and was considered to be the most basic level force of each palace. Oh, Mike did not expect his name to be called out here. I'm touched, he said insincerely. Don't be. By working together with the various palaces, you will only have a boundless future ahead of you. You will definitely not be mistreated. The other party said. Mike cursed them in his heart. If it wasn't for the hidden information notification, he would have really believed their nonsense. Humans were just their lackeys, and they looked down on humans from the bottom of their hearts. This silver tier pass is for you. With it, you can enter more dungeons and more help would be available to you. Your expenses will be cheaper, as there will be a corresponding discount for the expenses from each city, as the silver tier pass gives a 50% discount. It will also be of great help to you when you join an academy. The other party talked about the uses of the silver tier pass. Academy. Mike was puzzled. A place where you can get better guidance, the other party explained. It was similar to the academies in real life, where someone else would teach you if you didn't understand something. Does the academy also belong to the various palaces? Mike asked. That's right, but you have to be careful. The academies are open to the public, so there are all sorts of people in there. Not all of them are inclined towards the palaces, and there might be bad people there, the other party said. People who are opposed to the various palaces. Mike asked. That's right. He replied. Mike had a rough idea of what to do next. All right, he could consider making a trip to an academy. Oh right. The other party reminded him, with your silver tier pass, you have one chance to enter a gold tier dungeon, only one. So, don't use it rashly. Be sure to maximize its benefits. A gold tier dungeon. Got it. Thank you. Mike said. On the surface, Mike was being punished by all the factions. However, he was getting benefits from all of them behind their backs. He secretly laughed, this reward was a little cool. He used the class medal. Mike's doppelganger had become a necromancer. He had two skills, summon undead and poison arrow. The first skill allowed Mike to summon two of the undead to assist him. The level and strength of the undead solely depended on the summoning individual. The higher their skill level, the stronger the undead would be. It also allowed him to capture the undead. Capturing a powerful undead would naturally also be powerful when summoned. The second skill was the poison arrow. It was similar to the fireball spell. It was just condensed poisoned arrows. Single target damage, 180% spell damage. Additional poison effect. Continuous damage, 50% spell damage. Both skills were alright. I can capture some of the powerful undead to use in the future, Mike thought to himself. Mike considered joining an academy. With his doppelganger as an undercover body, Mike needed to learn as much as possible about the updated version of this world. He found an academy called a Tyrone Academy in Leather City. It was said that to be founded by a powerhouse named Tyrone a long time ago. When Mike took out his silver tier pass, he was treated with great respect and swiftly enrolled into Tyrone Academy. He discovered that there were two types of students here. One was players like Mike, and the other was NPCs. People originally from Miracle were also studying at Tyrone Academy. Just like in the real world, humans like Mike were outsiders who had entered the world of Miracle. The academy can help you learn skills, help level up your skills, allow you to enter dungeons to capture the undead, and so on. Mike was gaining a deeper understanding of this bit by bit. Suddenly, he saw a black-robed man sneaking around. He didn't look like a good person at first glance. Could he be one of those who opposed the various palaces? Mike couldn't help but think. Hidden information notification, this person disguises himself as a dark walker, fishing for those who want to oppose the various palaces. Mike was stunned, and he could not help but laugh. The various palaces were so afraid of other people opposing them to the point where they actually arranged for people to fish for traitors everywhere. It seemed that the various palaces were indeed not that popular. Otherwise, they would not be so strict in guarding themselves against people who opposed them. Mike planned to find some skills or other things that he could use. He went to the top floor of the skill room and found that there was an old man with a wrinkled face guarding the place. The bookshelves and tables were covered in dust, and one look was enough to tell that no one had come to flip through them for a long time. The reason why Mike came here was simple. There is a super powerful skill hidden on the top floor of the skill room. It was because he had received this notification. Mike had just arrived on the top floor. However, the moment he came up, Mike was stunned by another notification. This old man is a true dark walker, and he specifically opposes the various palaces, especially the palace of the Heavenly King. He possessed a super powerful skill. He wanted to develop a faction to oppose the Heavenly King's palace. Expressing malice towards the Heavenly King's palace could win his favor and obtain a super powerful skill. Completing his test would allow you to obtain even more benefits. Hidden experts. Were all experts hiding in pavilions that stored records like this? Mike did not rush over to the old man and said that he was against the palace of the Heavenly King directly, as that would be too abrupt and might backfire. Instead, he browsed through all sorts of skill books. After finding those skills that involved the palace of the Heavenly King, Mike pretended to casually belittle the Heavenly King's palace. Boom! The old man who was sitting there like a piece of wood suddenly exploded with a powerful aura. A turbulent gush of air swept up all the dust on the top floor. I seem to hear someone opposing the palace of the Heavenly King. The old man's hoarse voice slowly said, "Young people don't know the complexity and difficulty of things. How do you wish to die?" He had actually defended the palace of the Heavenly King. A second later, Mike understood why. He had been hiding here for so many years, so he definitely had to put on a very loyal posture. "You are a member of the Heavenly King's palace?" Mike asked. "How do you wish to die?" The old man repeated in a hoarse voice. If Mike retreated and chose to side with the palace of the Heavenly King, then he would really die. Now the old man was putting on an act just to scare him. I won't die. I will escape from here and continue to oppose the Heavenly King's palace. Because they are trash. And you can't hold me here, Mike said. Chapter 22, Dungeon, Scarlet Church. It seems that you're tired of living. The old man's manner did not change, still remaining fierce. Mike did not panic at all. This old man's strength was off the charts. If he really protected the palace of the Heavenly King, he would have taken action long ago. Why would he still be talking so much? Mike, who had seen the hidden information, completely understood the old man's intention at this moment. Will you try to keep me here? Mike asked. Young man, I'm giving you one last chance. Take back all your words and atone your sins towards the Heavenly King's palace, and you will still have a chance to get out of here scot-free, the old man said. If Mike did as he was told, this would not end well. Even if the old man decided not to beat him to death, he would be sent to be judged. After all, he did say bad things about the Heavenly King's palace. Only by struggling against the odds could one live. There would always be death on the path of life. Undead summon. Mike put his hands together, and 2 of the undead appeared. Poison arrow. An arrow shot out. Then Mike took off and ran. Boom! A wave of air sent the undead flying and disintegrated them along with the poison arrow. A wall of wind blocked Mike's path down the stairs, and the suction force pulled him back. Trying to run. The old man grabbed Mike. Puck? Even though Mike's body was just a doppelganger, he was still scared. The old man was too strong. No wonder the old man dared to oppose the palace of the Heavenly King. The old man grabbed Mike but did not hurt him. Instead, after looking at him, the old man could not help but laugh cheerily. Har har har. The old man threw his head back and laughed, unable to conceal his amusement. How many years? How many years has it been? Finally, I met someone like you who would rather die than support the Heavenly King's palace. Mike pretended to be stunned. Young man, I don't care what reason you have to oppose the Heavenly King's palace, as long as you oppose it, we are on the same side. In fact, I also oppose the Heavenly King's palace, the old man said. The old man was just like what was described in the hidden information. He was a dark walker, and he was looking for a successor. Presently, Mike was not qualified to be his successor, but he was qualified to receive super powerful skills. To be my successor would be an easy task. I only have one requirement for a successor, which is to maintain my opposition to the palace of the Heavenly King. The old man smiled and said, but if you want to be my successor and inherit everything from me, you need to complete the test to find the Thunder Core. Thunder Core? Mike asked. A key item that exists in the Silver Tier dungeon, but I don't know exactly which Silver Tier dungeon it is in, the old man said. This person has no ill intentions. The Thunder Core is a key item. Seeing the hidden notification, Mike had a rough idea of the situation. It was good that the old man didn't have any ill intentions. He would need to enter more Silver-Tier dungeons in the future. However, I can give you some benefits right now. Since you're against the Heavenly King's palace, you have the right to obtain it, the old man said. The super powerful skill is coming. Mike was looking forward to it. It was better if he pretended that he didn't know anything and ask what the skill was. Obtained skill, 0. 0, a fusion skill. There is no effect in the initial state, but it can fuse all the skills and increase the effectiveness of the skills by 50%. A fusion skill. Mike was shocked. If he could fuse all skills and increase the effect by so much, didn't that mean that Mike could now obtain all the skills of all the classes? This super powerful skill was too powerful. Don't be surprised, there will be more powerful ones in the future if you can find the Thunder Core, the old man said with a smile. Then, the old man took out another pitch-black item. And this is? Mike asked. This object is called a shadow. If you want to enter a dungeon in the future, use this. The old man said with a smile, when using the pass given to you by the palaces and entering the dungeons through their channels, you will be monitored throughout the whole process. There will be no secrets. Even if you manage to find the Thunder Core, they will snatch it away. This item can guarantee that you will not be discovered throughout the entire process. The palaces will not even be able to discover that you have entered the dungeon. Moreover, this item's authority is extremely great. Basically, you can enter and leave any dungeon at will. Mike's eyes lit up. He was originally thinking about whether he could enter the dungeon using his doppelganger. If he could personally enter the dungeon, there wouldn't be any pressure anymore. After that, the old man sat back in his original position and went back to being still as wood. Mike had things to do, like going into the dungeons and looking for the Thunder Core. Mike kept the shadow in his backpack and shared it with the real body. The real body in the magic array could take out the shadow and immediately go into the dungeon. Silver Tier Dungeon, Dark Demon Den. Recommended level, level 80. Silver Tier Dungeon, Scarlet Church. Recommended level, level 30. Silver Tier dungeons were challenging by themselves, it was not dependent on their levels. They had a large level range, so Mike chose a dungeon that was suitable for his level. Scarlet Church Dungeon, entering. Mike appeared in the wilderness. He could vaguely see a huge church in the distance. The entire dungeon was very dark. The church looked even more ominous under the dark clouds. Rotting Zombie. Overview, melee physical, highly toxic. Level, level 30. HP, 3,000/3,000. Attack, 180/180. Dual defense, 100/100, 100/100. Agility, 5/5. Skills, Bite, Advanced, Sharp Claws, Intermediate. Description, a rotting corpse that has been contaminated. It has a certain level of strength. Although it is not very strong, it tends to gather in groups. Threat, low. There were many zombies around. The ground was loose, and hundreds of zombies were crawling out of it. All of the zombies' attributes were about the same. Their movements were slow, but because there were so many of them, Mike had no way out. He could only face them head-on. With a wave of his hand, he cast a fireball. 7,215. 7,711. 6,925. 7,216. The damage was more than double of the zombie's HP. He hadn't even needed to ignite them. How strong will it be after fusing? Mike couldn't help but be fascinated. He used Zero right there on the spot. Zero, learn it successfully. Fireball, fused. Large fireball, fused. Flash, fused. Undead summon, fused. Poison arrow, fused. After fusing, 2 new skills appeared in Mike's skill pane, Undead summon, and a poison arrow. The original skills had not disappeared. The skills that Mike had not mastered were instantly mastered, and the effect of the skills also increased by 50%. It was the same for the skills that he had fused and originally mastered. Zero. This was also a separate skill that could be used. When Mike used Zero, all the skills that were fused into it were instantly released. It was a powerful move. Mike went deep into the Scarlet Church and used Zero on a large group of zombies to test its effect. 12,235. 16,241. 9,882. Undead Summon. Flash. As expected, all the skills were used at once. However, the original skills did not have a cooldown. Only the skill 0 had a cooldown. Fireball, Flash, and the others all did not have a cooldown, and they could still be used. So, I have 2 flashes. All my skills doubled. Mike was pleasantly surprised. He fought all the way. Soon, he dealt with the Undead King in the dungeon. Unfortunately, there is no Thunder Core. Mike was disappointed. Hidden information: there is a hidden boss in the depths of the church.